Hi there, welcome back to Pudubrews. I'm Howie, along with Claude and ChatGPT. In this episode, we're going to see what happens when I let these two guys try to identify a mystery bag of coffee. Sound interesting? Stick around. So, a little bit of background here. Mystery Coffee League is a monthly friendly competition where they get a roaster to sell you a bag of coffee. The issue is you know nothing about it. And the contest is you have to determine what it is. The varietal, where it came from, the tasting notes, the altitude, you name it. So I've been entering this for a few months, so I figured, hey, what would happen if I let Claude and ChatGPT try to figure out what it was? Would they come up with the same thing? Would they come up with the same thing as me? So I decided to dedicate this month to AI, and I would submit whatever Claude said. So no matter what no matter what I thought. So let's take a look at what Claude did from an analysis point of view. He was very methodical. And again, we're focusing on Claude this month because I can only submit one entry, and I decided ahead of time it was going to be Claude. So as I said, Claude was very analytical on what it did. It asked me a lot of questions. I showed it a picture of the beans. As soon as I showed it a picture of the beans, it was convinced it was a naturally processed coffee. It also took clues such as my first brew with it, the fact that it needed 4 to 6 weeks of rest, which is very indicative of a high altitude coffee. So it started looking at Ethiopia as a potential entry spot. So we went down this hole. The minute I said it was fruity, I started to doubt it, but it was convinced that Ethiopia was the origin here. So then, of course, I decided, let me ask the same questions of ChatGPT. Showed it the pictures there. And surprisingly, it came to the same conclusion. So, looking at the two AIs, two separate sets of prompts, I didn't ask it to look at what the other one had said. They both came up with the same origin. A little bit of different tasting notes between the two of them, as we'll see. I'll put them up in a bit. But this part has been really, really interesting to this point. Now, of course, I had my own thoughts here. I took a look at the beans and I thought there was no way that these were naturally processed. I also thought that these were Colombian geisha coffees. Given the fruitiness, the florality of it, I was convinced that this was a Colombian geisha. However, the altitude to me wasn't that high, and I was struggling with trying to figure out why this thing really truly needed 4 to 6 weeks of rest, when most Moonway coffees require 2 to 4. So I was kind of struggling there. So if I were to enter this myself, I would have put Colombia geisha and a few different tasting notes that are in there. You'll see my responses as well. And now we'll take a look at what reality was. And now for the reveal. Yep, everybody was wrong. It wasn't a geisha, wasn't an heirloom, wasn't Ethiopia. Hey, but at least I got the continent and country right. So AI couldn't have been more wrong. So this goes to prove that AI is a tool. If you ask it the right questions, it'll generate the right answers for you. But it won't necessarily, you cannot trust it blindly. It will lead you down the wrong path if you are not careful. I love AI. I use AI in everything that I do, between work, between coffee. I ask it a lot of questions. I challenge it on my brewing methods, but I also challenge it on its responses back to me, and that is key. You need to be able to challenge the GPT back as well. You cannot take what it gives you blindly. So, hope this has been helpful so far. And now, as usual, a roast from ChatGPT. You let me guess the coffee but trusted your flat max at 230 microns for a washed bourbon? That's not extraction, that's coffee exfoliation. Hey, listen, I was chasing clarity, not skincare. Claude, any final words? Oh, like and subscribe, or Howie will brew his next wash Colombian at boiling with bypass and a 3-minute Rayo spin. I don't care. Nobody listens to me anyway. Thanks, Claude. So, I hope you're finding this interesting. If so, give a like and subscribe, help this channel out. But also, are you using AI in your life today? Have you used it in coffee? Are you thinking about using it in coffee? Has this given you any thought to using it in coffee? Drop me a line in there. Also, a big question that I have for you guys. Should I take control of my Mystery Coffee League entry for next month? Or should I let GPT enter and see what happens there? Let me know. Thanks. Bye.